All right, we're going to explore something that feels a little counterintuitive, but is just so incredibly powerful. It's this hidden force that can completely reshape your relationships and, honestly, your entire life. It's the power of unavailability. And look, this is not about ignoring people or being rude, not at all. It's about strategically reclaiming your energy and your presence.
I mean, you've seen this, right? There's that one person in a group who doesn't need to be loud or demand attention. They just withdraw a little bit, and suddenly, the whole energy of the room shifts. Everyone else starts leaning in, wondering what they're thinking. Now that is a quiet, profound kind of power. And this quote, it just gets right to the heart of it. The second you stop being on call 24/7, you disrupt the whole system. See, people get used to your predictability. They rely on it. And when you take that away, everything changes. So, here's the journey we're going to take today. We'll kick things off with the power of withdrawal. Then we'll look at why being too available is actually a kind of prison. After that, we'll get into your psychic energy, the games people play to manipulate it, the immense power of silence, and finally, the path that leads you back to your true self.
Okay, let's be super clear about this. This is not about running away from your problems. What we're talking about here is a conscious, strategic retreat. It's a total power move that shifts you from just reacting to everyone else's drama to becoming the sovereign ruler of your own life.
And that leads us straight into this idea of the prison of availability. So many of us are taught from a young age that our value comes from how much we do for other people. But that can easily become a trap, where being too nice just slowly but surely drains us of all our peace.
I love how this reframes the whole idea. Being available all the time isn't a virtue, it's a prison. Because when you're always there, you become predictable, and anything that's predictable can be turned into a tool. You basically become an emotional emergency button people push when they need validation, and then, poof, they put you right back on the shelf until they need you again.
So, why on earth do we do this to ourselves? Well, the famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung had a name for it, the persona. Think of it as the social mask we all wear to fit in, to be liked. We make ourselves overly available because deep down, we're afraid of being rejected. We're constantly seeking that approval by playing our role.
Do any of these hit a little too close to home? Saying it's okay when you're absolutely suffocating? Replying to texts instantly, even when you're totally exhausted? This is what self-abandonment looks like. You're putting on this big performance for everyone else, but in the process, you completely disappear from your own stage. You just ignore your own needs until you're running on empty.
And this constant self-abandonment, it costs you something real. It costs you what Carl Jung called your psychic energy. Just think of it like your life force, your inner strength. The thing is, it's not infinite. And every single time you people please or say yes when you mean no, you're literally giving a piece of it away.
This right here shows the trade-off perfectly. On one side, you've got all the things that drain you, those impulsive reactions, pointless arguments, and people-pleasing. But on the other side, when you protect that energy, you gain presence, authenticity, and sovereignty, which is just a fancy word for true ownership over your own life. You go from being drained to being truly powerful.
Jung's insight here is just brilliant. Constantly reacting to every little provocation, it doesn't solve a thing. In fact, it just binds you even tighter to the person or the situation that's draining you in the first place. You get trapped in this endless cycle that just wastes your precious energy.
Now, here's where it gets a little dark. This constant reacting makes you incredibly vulnerable. You see, some people can almost smell when you don't know how to guard your energy, and they use your predictable reactions to manipulate you, often without you even realizing what's happening.
Jung called one of these tactics projection. It's when people take all their own unresolved issues, their own stuff, and they basically throw it onto you. And if you're emotionally available all the time, well, you become the perfect blank canvas for all of their drama, all of their needs, and all of their crises.
It's a game, and it's devastatingly effective. It works like this. A manipulator figures out your emotional triggers, your guilt, your fear of disappointing people. Then they push that button. You react exactly how they knew you would, and boom, they get what they wanted. Attention, control, whatever it is, all at your expense.
But here's how you win. You just stop reacting. You pull your energy back. The moment you do that, the game is over. It breaks. Your silence doesn't just protect you. It actually forces them to face the very inner chaos they were using you to escape from.
This brings us to our most powerful tool of all, We have to completely reframe how we think about silence. It is not weakness. It's not being passive. When you use it consciously, it is a strategic weapon for reclaiming your power and taking back control over your own life.
You see, conscious silence isn't empty. It's absolutely full of presence. When you stop jumping to react and instead you just observe, you gain this incredible clarity. You start seeing the manipulation games and the cycles of self-sabotage that you were completely blind to before.
Now, let's be real. This is not going to be easy. There's a price. People who only valued you for the role you played for them, they're going to fall away. They might call you cold or selfish or arrogant. They won't understand you anymore. But that's just the proof that they never really saw you. They only saw what you could do for them, your utility.
So what happens after this rupture? A rebirth. Seriously, by choosing to be consciously unavailable, you start on the journey that Jung called individuation, the path of becoming who you were always meant to be, free from everyone else's expectations.
And here's what that path looks like. It's going to start with discomfort, probably a lot of guilt too, as your old programming fights back. But if you can just hold on, that feeling gives way to solitude and a newfound clarity. From there, you'll find a deep sense of peace and strength. And finally, you arrive at true authenticity and freedom.
This right here is the ultimate trade-off. You might lose some people who were only connected to a false version of you, but in return, you find your real self. You might be misunderstood by those who can no longer use you, but you will finally gain genuine respect, starting with respect for yourself.
Which really leaves us with just one final question. Protecting your energy, reclaiming your sovereignty, it means some people might not get it. They might judge you. That's the price of admission to a free life. So, the question is, are you willing to pay it?